It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the first event held by the BRICS Nuclear Platform. Today we're going to focus on the matter of BRICS skills and workforce development solutions in capacity building for nuclear in Africa, a cornerstone topic that will be featured by a brilliant panel of speakers later. For those who are newcomers to our events, I would like to briefly introduce the BRICS Nuclear Platform. The BRICS Nuclear Platform was formed in October 2024. It unites leading nuclear companies and entities from BRICS and BRICS partner countries in order to leverage on the best expertise, technological and production capacities, and human resources development practices. At the inauguration meeting in Moscow, delegates from Brazil, Russia, China, Iran, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Bolivia had confirmed their support for the platform. In January 2025, Egypt joined the statement. Africa's pursuit of energy security and sustainable future increasingly includes nuclear energy. Achieving this ambition, however, depends not only on infrastructure and technology, but on developing a strong, skilled, and future-oriented workforce across the continent. In this regard, today's topic is both timely and forward-looking. The BRICS countries operating nuclear power plants and leading in new constructions have accumulated valuable experience in education, training systems, and institutional capacity building. Sharing this expertise through partnerships can meaningfully support Africa's efforts to strengthen its human capital base. At the same time, the global nuclear sector faces a common challenge, an aging workforce, and the need to attract a new diverse generation of professionals. For Africa, this presents not only a challenge, but also an opportunity to build a modern workforce from the outset, integrating best practices in gender inclusion, youth engagement, and international cooperation. On the one hand, investing in skills development is essential to ensure the safe, secure, and efficient implementation of nuclear programs. Whilst on the other hand, human capital development offers a natural and constructive platform for deeper collaborations grounded in knowledge exchange and mutual benefit. This makes encouraging youth engagement is not only a strategic necessity, but also a practical priority. In this context, initiatives such as the Atoms Empowering Africa, a short online video competition for students and young professionals aged between 18 and 35, has demonstrated how creative formats can inspire interest in the nuclear technologies and their peaceful application for the continent's development. Since its launch in 2015, the competition has motivated hundreds of young Africans to explore careers in the nuclear field. The BRICS Nuclear Platform is pleased to act as a partner in this initiative, helping to expand its outreach through educational and youth networks while supporting leadership development and raising awareness of nuclear energy among the next generation. Such engagement complements broader capacity building efforts and strengthens the long-term talent pipeline. Ladies and gentlemen, we would be delighted to see you encouraging your young professionals and young people participating in this competition. With this in mind, our discussion will focus on practical and cooperative solutions, joint education initiatives, tailored training exchanges, and local curriculum development. Such coordinated efforts can help create a sustainable pipeline of nuclear professionals and support the safe, innovative, and sovereign development of nuclear energy across Africa. I am sure that today's session will be followed up by comprehensive professional discussion within the Skills and Talent Working Group of the BRICS Nuclear Platform, and will also become part of the agenda for other initiatives, joint research projects, etc. Let our fantastic speakers today make the first insightful step in this work. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our panel of speakers for today. For those who are here, as I introduce you, please come to the stage. We have Ms. Elizabeth Marawa, Chief Director, Department of Electricity and Energy, South Africa. Online, we have Ms. Refilwe Buthelezi, the President of the Federation of African Engineering Organization. We have in the house Ms. Sithembile Mbuisa, the Group Executive, Human Capital, Nexa, South Africa. We also have Shirley Mabika, BRICS Nuclear Power Station, Human Resources, ESCOM, South Africa. We have Mr. Xiangle Meng, Deputy Representative Africa from the CNCC, China. Online, we have Mr. Celso Cunha, President of ABDAN, Brazil. We have online Dr. Fidel Ndao, Chief Executive Officer, Rwanda Atomic Energy Board. We also have Dr. Sheriff Hemley, Chairman of the Board, Nuclear Power Plants Authority in Egypt. And we have Ms. Tatiana Terentieva, Deputy Director General of Human Resources, Rosatom, Russia. We have Dr. Tekel Meriam Tesema Tohe, CEO, Technology Development and Transfer Section, Ministry of Innovations and Technology, Ethiopia. You are welcome. So ladies and gentlemen, let's engage our panel. Let's engage our panel, and I would like to start with Ms. Marawa, from the Chief Director from the Department of Electricity and Energy. Ms. Marawa, the global nuclear sector faces a critical skills challenge with an aging workforce and a pressing need to attract a diverse new generation. For Africa, this universal challenge presents a strategic opportunity to build a modern workforce from the ground up, integrating best practices in gender diversity and youth engagement from the outset through international partnership. Tell us about the programs and partnerships that you have embarked on to build capacity in the energy sector in South Africa, and what opportunities are there to collaborate within the African region?
Greetings to you all in the room and also those that are virtual. Thank you really for the honor to address you today on the issue that is both urgent and strategic for the future of the global energy landscape in general, and nuclear in particular, and especially nuclear in Africa, where we see the aspirations of many African countries to take the nuclear route. Capacity building in the nuclear sector is particularly critical, as you have indicated, due to the aging workforce, which it currently underpins the sector. In the African case, we are most fortunate that we are at the beginning of the industry, with South Africa having 2 power plants and Egypt in the process of construction. It's the time that we contribute to development of capacity within our respective countries and as a continent at large. Capacity building is especially more important given the fact that we are all aspiring to move to a more reliable source, clean baseload power for the continent. We cannot do it with renewables only. So in that case, what is very important for us and what we have been doing as a country is to ensure that we demystify nuclear. To demystify nuclear is also to go out and explain to young people that nuclear is not only a strategic energy carrier, but it's safe and it's resilient and it's cheaper and secure and offers us a baseload. To also indicate to them that there are career opportunities within the nuclear sector and that there are institutions that are willing to train them, and that the important issue for them, the young people, is to make sure that they do maths and science in order for them to choose careers in nuclear. So as a department, we have gone out in the villages, we have gone out in the low-income areas, we have what we call townships, to alert our young learners about such opportunities. And within the young people and women as well. We have also been sending young people out for training in the nuclear space and encouraging them to take and encouraging them to take programs in nuclear. And we now have a small but a good contingent of young people that have been trained overseas on nuclear-related programs. In terms of women as well, we encourage them, especially because the industry is coming. It is important that we also have women in senior management that are capacitated in order to, I've lost the, that are, I used to teach, that are capacitated and able to take leadership positions. It is very important that for our nuclear companies, we also target young women and senior women in general to be in the C-suite, so that as the nuclear industry develops, we also ensure that it's not only capacity building, but it also contributes to creating opportunities for women in business. And that can be done by those women in leadership, by the leaders that are pro-inclusive and who are keen to ensure that women are part and parcel of the nuclear industry. And that especially in Africa, as we develop the sector, as we have a critical mass of the nuclear power plants and nuclear-related projects, we also develop the SMMEs, we localize, and in it we include women. And capacity building for such small companies is also critical, and we need to look at capacity building for women-owned companies, youth-owned companies, and Black-owned companies as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maraba. I think it's very important, the point that you're raising, that as we focus on capacity building, we need to be inclusive and make sure that from the outset we encourage young people, and we also make sure that in the fold we build capacity to also include women in capacity building for nuclear skills on the continent. Thank you so much for your contribution. So the next speaker that I would like to hear her views is Ms. Tatiana Terentieva, the Deputy Director General of Human Resources in Rosatom. Ms. Terentieva, as one of the leading global vendors of nuclear power plants, how does Rosatom address workforce development, talent renewal, and diversity within its international projects? What is Rosatom's approach to building sustainable human capital in the countries where it operates?
Dear esteemed guests, it is a great pleasure to participate in this expert panel hosted by the BRICS Nuclear Platform and to share our vision. At Rosatom, we believe that nuclear energy is beyond advanced technologies. It is fundamentally a human-centric industry. Developing high-tech skills and fostering talent are essential to building green future of energy, and nuclear technology will be a game changer. Today, Rosatom is a global leader in nuclear technology with an 80 history of success. Our foreign business portfolio includes 41 nuclear power plants, construction projects across 11 countries, where 20 projects are situated in the BRICS countries. We have a global presence in 70 countries. We create thousands of jobs both in Russia and internationally. Currently, we employ 420,000 people. More than 60,000 of them work for our overseas projects. In order to support our global growth, we have to increase our national nuclear power generation from current 20% to 25%. It means that we have to construct 38 nuclear power plants by 2042. To date, Rosatom designed and PPs in operating have prevented over 200 million tons of carbon dioxide emission globally, marking Rosatom's contribution to the global fight against climate change. Rosatom is one of the largest players in the global nuclear energy market with our solutions covering the full life cycle of nuclear power plants, from fuel supply to decommissioning. Currently, Rosatom ranks top 3 in all elements of the nuclear cycle. We also supply approximately 90% of NPP overseas market for newcomer countries. And our integrated solutions includes HR capacity building, design, construction, operation, decommissioning, and a high standard of support services. Nuclear energy is in the core of Rosatom businesses. Building on this strength, we are also key players in wind, hydrogen, and high-tech non-energy sectors such as composite materials, nuclear fleet in the Northern Sea Route, nuclear medicine and isotopes, waste management solution, IT and digital technologies, and quantum computing. To demonstrate Rosatom's global footprint, Rosatom employs around 420,000 people with all the 60,000 who work abroad. We have a balanced workforce. All the 30% of our employees are from the younger generation, and more than 55% are mature professionals. Rosatom is a talent-intensive company, and we employ around 4,000 PhD or doctorate degree holders. Presently, over 4,500 graduates choose Rosatom to start their careers, and our goal is increased to 7,000 by 2030. We are proud of our progress in gender equality. Our female professionals pioneered in traditionally male jobs like navigating a nuclear icebreaker in the Arctic, welding, thermonuclear fusion technologies, or quantum technologies. To demonstrate our commitment to gender equality, women make up 33% of Rosatom's employees. We have based our innovative educational ecosystem on the principle of human centricity to prepare the future workforce and develop our current employees' potential. Our human-centric approach is reflected in our continuous and seamless education, where we start working with future employees and kindergarten, elementary schools, continue at university, navigate their careers and create opportunities at workplaces. Our education ecosystem includes 50 kindergartens, 250 secondary schools, and all the 30 best Russian and international partnering universities, which help us implement a balanced and comprehensive approach to training for our workforce needs. Our flagship of human centricity, Obninsk Tech, an international education center of nuclear and related technologies, which serves as our global platform uniting Russia's and top Russia's universities and our international partnering universities. To support this process, Rosatom also operates 2 dedicated corporate training institutions, the Corporate Academy and the Technical Academy. All elements of our educational ecosystem are interconnected through communities of students, parents, teachers, and juniors. They are our followers, and they help us navigate professionals throughout their careers. In order to amplify our human-centric approach, we have over 2,400 international students from 65 countries who are studying nuclear at Rosatom's partner universities, including more than 350 students from 24 African countries. Especially important that 70% of our foreign graduates manage to find a job in their home countries. All elements of our educational Yeah. We actively work with an International Atomic Energy Agency, as well as the World Nuclear Association. Together with international organizations and professional associations, we drive joint initiatives and build a modern and sustainable labor market. On that note, I would like to highlight our engagement in the BRICS level activities in HR capacity building track. We initiated a key BRICS study on labor market development, and based on its success, BRICS ministers of energy supported us in launching a working group, Skills for the Energy Transition. This year, together with our partners from BRICS, we are preparing the second edition of the BRICS Energy Transition Skills Report, where the new 5 member countries, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE, Indonesia, and Egypt, will be studied. Our experts have already conducted research visits in Ethiopia and Egypt, and we will present our findings at the BRICS Energy Ministers meeting in India later this year. We have also initiated working groups on talent development and young professionals within the BRICS Nuclear Platform, and look forward to advancing this HR agenda across the industry. Another important priority for us is supporting BRICS Youth Energy Summits. These summits are more than just discussion platforms. They are an investment in the next generation of global energy leaders. In 2023, Rosatom partnered on holding the summit in South Africa, and last year in Moscow, we achieved a historic milestone: the first ever meeting of the BRICS Youth Nuclear Expert Group, with its findings captured in the BRICS Youth Energy Outlook. I am also pleased to share that in 2025, our collaboration with the BRICS Youth Energy Agency and the BRICS Nuclear Platform resulted in a special report on advances in SMRs. This successful partnership led to a key discussion integrating the BRICS Youth Nuclear Expert Group with experts from the nuclear platform into a single joint group to further strengthen cooperation on the youth agenda within BRICS. I am confident we will see further productive dialogue and new initiatives to accelerate the energy transition and strengthen these ties among young professionals across Russia, Africa, and all BRICS nations. In conclusion, I would like to invite you and your team to take part in the International Youth Nuclear Forum Obninsk New in June. It is a great chance for your young professionals to discuss nuclear technologies and innovations, the role of the Youth Declaration in building a sustainable future, and of course, future collaborations and initiatives. Thank you for your attention, colleagues.
Thank you so much, Tatiana Terentieva, the Deputy Director General of Human Resources, Rosatom. We really appreciate the partnership of Rosatom with the BRICS Nuclear Platform, and an invitation has been extended, ladies and gentlemen, to also make sure that as we create awareness amongst the youth in terms of the opportunities that nuclear can provide, to also join in the quest. We also mentioned earlier around the competition around atoms powering Africa. Let's use the opportunity also to create awareness such that we can have a lot of young people choosing STEM and ultimately careers in nuclear. Thank you so much, Mr. Rentieva. Our next speaker is Mr. Xianglei Meng, the Deputy Representative, Africa Representative Office, CNNC, China. Mr. Meng, there is a potential for Africa to achieve net zero emissions by 2050, whilst addressing the urgent need to provide electricity to approximately 600 million people currently living without access in Africa. Being one of the global vendors of NPPs, what does CNNC think about opportunities and perspectives for the African region in general?
Thank you, moderator. Thank you. You mentioned two important goals. One is the net zero to 2050. And another is 600 million population that get the access to electricity. Actually, the Sahara region, the total population is around 1.2 billion. 600 million means almost half of the population have no access to the electricity. And to get the net zero and the access to the electricity, the two goals seems to check each other, but actually they are coordinated with each other. Just imagine such large population cannot get a fast growth without green commitment. Maybe there is some different voice that said for the developing countries, they need to focus on the fast growth and then think about the green goals. I think it's misleading because you can see what happened to our brothers in Zambia and Zimbabwe in the recent years due to the drought. Because most of these countries, the energy mix is dominated by hydropower. Because the climate change, it's heavily influenced by the drought. So I saw load shedding up to 20 hours per day at that times. So I think we should make the growth go together with the green commitment. So as one of the major nuclear solution provider in the world, CNC treat the two different and two significant goals as the same mission, because I think nuclear can make a better solution to achieve both the economic growth, which is get access to the electricity for the 600 million people, and also get the net zero for the 2050. Because if you compare with the nuclear with the traditional renewable energies, nuclear is much more stable, and it can provide a base load to this population to get accessibility to this population. And if you compare it with coal and gas to power, nuclear power is nearly zero emission. So that is the fastest way to reach the net zero. So I think nuclear can reach this at the same time. And as the major nuclear solution, CNNC, China National Nuclear Corporation, has more than 70 years of nuclear development. If you combine the unit numbers for operation, for under construction and the plant, you get a total number of around 112 nuclear units in China. And I think that is now ranks the #1 in the world. And we also provide a portfolio for the nuclear technologies. We can make a tailored solution to the clients in Africa and other emerging countries, such as if you want something big, stable, and a big, stable, and safe one, we have the Hualong one, which is HPWA 1000. And if you're looking for some small but smart, we have two different kind of small modular reactors. The first is HTR 200. We call it a high temperature gas reactor, and it's used helium for the coolant. It can be used for the remote areas, for example, the mining companies. And also, I think it's a good solution for the coal replacement, for example, in South Africa. And if you need some small but coastal pressurized reactors, we have ACP 100 with per unit is 125 megawatt, and that can be used for diversified purpose. For example, electricity generation. For example, provide the heat and even the desalination. And also now we are developing the HTR600S, which is mainly to provide the industrial steam for the petrochemical parks. And so that is how we can provide a tailored solution to as per the request from our clients. And I won't give any details in this because I will give another speech in the nuclear forum. If you are interested in this, you can get more information downstairs. And what's more, and CNC pays attention to the localization and technology transfer. You know, we are not only build the stations, we build the teams. I'd like to take example from Pakistan that we have already exported 7 units to Pakistan, and we help them to build their own team for the operation and maintenance. Now they can undertake the operation and maintenance tasks themselves. And in conclusion, I think Africa is the most dynamic, is the youngest, and the most promising continent. And I believe that the next nuclear market and next nuclear growth is in this continent. Maybe 2050 seems far away, but it's not for nuclear. We appreciate that a lot of African countries now have already made commitment to embrace nuclear. And 2050 is not far away for nuclear, and CNC is ready to provide any solutions, including the technical and financial solutions. And I think that is why we get together here today and make these forums and platforms. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Meng. I think we can't undermine the fact that Africa needs more baseload in order to advance economic development. And I really appreciate the fact that CNC recognizes the need for localization and technology transfers that happens, because I think Africa has abundant resources. We need to make sure that the resources that are in Africa, they start working for Africa as well. So we really appreciate CNNC stance in terms of localization and technology transfer. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Ms. Sitembile Mbuisa, the Group Executive Human Potential for NEXA. Sitembile, what are the opportunities for collaborating with international partners to leverage on their expertise?
Thank you, Elsie, for the question. Greetings to the colleagues in the room, and greetings to the fellow panel members online. The conversation that we are embarking on today is a particularly important one if we look at where the country is in terms of its strong and bold commitments to the nuclear build era. And if you look at where we are as South Africa, as well as other BRICS countries on the pursuit of the nuclear build programs, markedly, we are all at early stages, and we need to be thinking about how we can build the capacity and the capability that is going to get us to the realization of the sustainable energy mix that we are looking to achieve. This obviously raises the urgency for all stakeholders in private and public sector, academia and government, to actively seek collaborative bilateral and multilateral partnerships at a local and a global level towards the capacity and capability development of human resources, which is going to be intentional in ensuring that we have the just-in-time workforce that will enable the realization of the energy program, where nuclear is one of the key enablers. Now, if we look at what opportunities exist out there, if you look at the countries that are way ahead of the curve in terms of how they've approached these programs, you would see that with the IEA, they have effectively used the mechanism that is available to the member states, where the IEA supports the development of industrial innovation, human capital development, and building technical expertise in nuclear technologies and practices for the capacitation of nuclear programs. Now, this means that as various countries who are embarking on this journey, we must also be looking at how we can have that coordinated approach of sending our talent to get exposure to various programs of the IEA. I'm talking about your junior professional officer positions, as well as your cost-free aspects, which will be one of the ways as a country where we can intentionally invest in human capital development through exposure to various programs that are offered and allow for the interaction with other countries as they work on the various careers there. If we currently look at the way that we're working as South Africa, we work on this as individual organizations, and my argument would be that you do not necessarily have the impact that you would want to have, which is the impact that is required for the realization of nuclear skills that we are embarking on building. So a coordinated approach where our government is at the forefront in terms of leading this, with active participation from your organizations and academia would be a key proposal from my side. Furthermore, if you look at where the other countries are from a nuclear build perspective, you have got already significant advancements that has been made in nuclear. And this means that there is an abundance of opportunities in infrastructure, knowledge and expertise that is available through strategic partnerships with various organizations and university networks that we can tap into in pursuit of the development of the nuclear capacity and capability that will deliver the workforce for the nuclear build projects at various countries. Therefore, a coordinated approach in terms of facilitating global mobility, as well as the repatriation of skills, as well as a pursuit of effective strategic cooperative partnerships, particularly with global organizations for the transfer and exchange of knowledge, expertise, and best practices, research development, access to cutting-edge training programs, amongst other priorities, is undoubtedly for me one of the compelling intentional pathways to the workforce transformation for the realization of a diverse energy mix where nuclear is a contributing platform to the decarbonization plan. The Nuclear Capacity Development Plan that is intentionally exposing youth and women to high-value training opportunities, which also addresses the gender inequality and diversity concerns, thus unleashing the untapped potential for sustainable growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stembile. I think the issue around collaboration cannot be understated. Thank you for raising that as well. Our next speaker is Michelle Mabika from the Quebec Nuclear Power Station. BRICS nations operate 1/3 of the world's nuclear plants and lead in new construction. This result cannot be achieved without comprehensive workforce development solutions for each country. So tell us, what do you propose to be the concrete solutions to build, attract, and retain skills that will be required for existing and new nuclear programs on the continent?
Thank you, Mepule, and good afternoon to the audience. So the future of nuclear energy in Africa starts with investing in our people. To ensure a strong and sustainable nuclear workforce in Africa, we need to strengthen nuclear skills development, focusing on building sustainable skills pipeline through multiple targeted approach or initiatives. First, building skills begins with developing local capacity. We must make sure that we invest in early identification of talent, as well as public awareness, partnering and working closely with schools and local communities to introduce and raise awareness of nuclear career opportunities and also promote STEM education. It is important that we communicate clearly that nuclear is clean, reliable, and aligned with global climate goals, and that it also offers meaningful, high-impact careers. In addition, we should establish scholarship programs linked to in-service training, ensuring that students gain both academic knowledge as well as practical industry exposure. Equally important is strengthening partnership and collaboration with universities and institutions of higher learning to develop and expand nuclear-related academic programs. These academic programs must be aligned with the industry requirements and should include specialized areas as reactor technology, radiation protection, and nuclear safety. In terms of attracting the best talent into the nuclear sector, this would require that we offer competitive incentives and clear career paths so that talented individuals see nuclear as a long-term and rewarding profession. Mentorship is also critical. Young professionals benefit tremendously from guidance and knowledge transfer from experienced engineers and specialists who have spent decades in the field. Again, we must strengthen industry partnerships, both locally and internationally. This can be done through twinning agreements and collaborative arrangements with global nuclear organizations. We can enable knowledge exchange, benchmarking, and professional exposure across the nuclear industry. We should also continue to work closely with IAEA to support regulatory training, safety development, and international exchange programs that strengthen our workforce capabilities. Mepule, in terms of retaining the skilled professionals that we develop, retention requires an environment where people feel valued, supported, and able to grow. This would include clear career progression paths, continuous professional development, and strong mentorship structures. So in ESCOM, we have our own in-house training center, which already has strong internal capabilities, and this should continue to be leveraged to deliver accredited training programs that qualifies and develop artisans, technicians, radiation protection professionals, and other specialized nuclear roles. And finally, in ESCOM, we are progressing with the establishment of a dedicated nuclear school. This institution basically will serve as a regional center of excellence to further institutionalize nuclear skills development, formalize nuclear skills training and capability development across Africa, and obviously through partnerships. This would help strengthen the talent pipeline and ensure that nuclear skills development remains sustainable for future generations. In closing, if Africa is to realize the full potential of nuclear energy as part of clean nuclear energy future, we must invest deliberately and strategically in people, partnerships, and knowledge development. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I agree with you, Shelley. Africa has got young talent, and we're seeing a lot of countries in Africa are considering nuclear into their energy mix. And we're building a power plant in Egypt, 4,800 megawatts. We're seeing other countries having plans in place to start their nuclear programs. What it means that talent is going to be mobile. Our young people are going to move across the continent. So what's important is that we need to start planting our timber now and not wait for when those programs start. So thank you so much for sharing that. Our next speaker is Dr. Fidel Ndao, the Chief Executive Officer from RIAB. Mr. Ndao, tell me, what do you think about these opportunities and perspectives for the African region in general? Mute, you are on mute. Thank you.
Sorry. So thank you, moderator. I just want to convey warm greetings to my colleagues, panelists, and Rwanda not being member of BRICS. I also want to thank the organizers for the opportunity given to me to share my thoughts on this issue. It's true several African countries are considering nuclear energy. and one, to address the gaps in their energy demand and the supply systems, and also ensure transition to non-carbon emitting energy sources. The first major obstacle that newcomer countries have to overcome is the lack of human capacity to understand and formulate a nuclear energy project. And in Rwanda, we also faced this problem. There was no one who could make a proper analysis of existing nuclear technologies and their different applications, and then make an informed proposal on the types of nuclear energy applications that can boost our socio-economic development. So we started by signing with Russia a memorandum of cooperation in education and training in the field of nuclear energy back in 2018. And the Rwandan students were sent to different universities in Russia to undertake different nuclear science and engineering programs. But there is a need to domesticate these, some of these training programs, given the large number of staff that are needed to safely and securely operate and maintain a nuclear power generation facility. Rwanda is actually envisaging to introduce nuclear power in its energy mix. And given the size of our country and the size of our grid, we have from the beginning decided to go for the small modular nuclear reactor technologies. And we have trained quite a good number of specialists in that area. And to the point that we are actually looking at available technologies that we can use in order to address our needs. So now, coming back to BRICS. BRICS can play an important role in partnering with African countries on this journey to embrace nuclear energy technologies. We have several nuclear countries members of BRICS and leading in the world as nuclear technology suppliers like Russia, China, India. And in my understanding, we need to develop local programs in partnership with these countries, because this can benefit both the nuclear technology suppliers and the countries themselves. So nuclear technology suppliers, once they support the training, local training, through creating the regional centers of education in nuclear energy, so they have a critical mass of local specialists who understand very well their technology, and that will be the best way to market their technology, because once you have people who understand your technology, it becomes easier to sell your technology in that region. We also need to start even before this regional training center can be established. And I commend the previous speaker who talked about the Center of Excellence to be established in South Africa. We also need to start now by developing joint academic programs, because we agree that we can send 2, 3, 30, 40 students to India, to China to study, but if we need a mass of people numbering around 800, so definitely we need to have local programs. But at the beginning, we cannot support these local programs because there is a lack of equipment to support these programs, and there is also lack of enough qualified teaching academic staff to offer these programs. So in that situation, joint academic programs are a solution, whereby a university in one country, nuclear country, can partner with a local university and then offer the program in this local university, combining with some visit to nuclear facilities in the nuclear country. That can work very well while establishing the required infrastructure in the country. So another opportunity that I see here is to start, especially with SMRs, is that SMR are in developing. There are some countries that are advanced, others are starting, and this is a good opportunity for African countries actually to embrace the trend at the beginning, because we are not lagging behind, since other countries also are starting these technologies. So the moment we embrace this technology at their beginning, in a few years to come, we want to be regarded as technology consumers, but rather as technology developers, because we're going to partner with these developers to mature this technology and then start operating this technology in our local context. So in conclusion, I just want to thank again the BRICS for inviting me to share my thoughts. And I think we are looking forward to the regional center for training established in different regions in Africa, so that we can develop in a sustainable manner nuclear energy projects on the continent of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ndao, and I'm encouraged by the practical proposal you are putting on the table to consider regional training initiatives, and I think that will actually help when it comes to economies of skill and scale as we sort of ramp up the development of nuclear professionals on the continent. Thank you so much for your contributions. Our next speaker is Dr. Miriam Tesema Tohe, the CEO of Technology Development and Transfer Section in Ethiopia. Mr. Tesema Tohe, what do you think about the BRICS Africa Solutions joint education programs, tailored training exchanges, and local curricular development? As this is a concerted effort which is essential to create a sustainable pipeline for nuclear professionals and the deployment of nuclear energy across Africa.
Thank you, Elsie. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It is a great pleasure to speak in this BRICS nuclear panel. Thank you for giving me a chance to reflect on this important question. It is true that BRICS nations operate about 1/3 of the world's nuclear power plants and lead the construction of new nuclear projects. This is not only a technological success, but it is, for me, more importantly, a human success. Nuclear energy is not sustained by constructing a strong and huge concrete, or using a very strong steel metal, or only using uranium alone. It is sustained by engineers. It is sustained by operators, safety inspectors, regulators, teachers, and researchers. So we talk about expanding nuclear energy in Africa. The question is not only what technology will be built, but the question goes to who will design it, who will operate it, who will regulate it, and who will maintain its safety for the next 60 to 80 years. In this context, I strongly believe that BRICS Africa cooperation should build a safe, sustainable, and independent nuclear future for Africa. This can be achieved in 3 main pillars of shared commitment. The first pillar recommended is joint education programs. This helps to change the existing scenario of simple technology purchase to knowledge partnership. Joint education programs between BRICS countries and African institutions should go beyond short courses or individual scholarships. Their main goal should be to create a new generation of Africa nuclear professionals trained to international standards. These programs can include dual degree programs between African universities and BRICS countries, joint research on reactor safety, fuel cycle, waste management, regional nuclear education centers in Africa supported by BRICS experts, and also digital learning platforms also may be applied. This changes cooperation from simple technology import-export into long-term knowledge partnership. This ensures the African nuclear programs will not depend forever on foreign experts, but will grow their own strong scientific and technical base. The second pillar is tailored training exchange. Africa is a diverse continent. Countries are at different stages of nuclear development. Some are working with research reactors and medical isotopes, while others are preparing for power reactors and possibly small modular reactors. Therefore, training programs must be role-specific. When I say role-specific, it is to mean that the training should provide training for operators, for regulators, for emergency responders, and for policymakers. The training must be country-specific. The training should be based on each nation's level of development. And it has to be progressive. It has to start from basic knowledge and move towards advanced operational and regulatory skills. The third and most strategic pillar for me is local curriculum development. If Africa keeps sending trainee abroad for nuclear education forever, then true independence will not be achieved. Sustainable nuclear programs require that knowledge is rooted in local institutions. African universities and training centers should develop strong programs in nuclear engineering, radiation science, nuclear safety and security, nuclear waste management, nuclear policy, and law. These programs should be aligned with international standards, adapted to Africa's developmental needs, and co-developed with BRICS academic and research institutions. This creates a permanent pipeline of engineers, scientists, and regulators. It also allows nuclear education to support national development goals such as medical isotope production, industrial applications, food and water security, clean and reliable energy supply. This kind of partnership deviates away from donor-recipient relationship and becomes a co-development model based on shared responsibility and mutual benefits. Africa could be benefited from the model by obtaining reliable and secure energy, industrial growth and skilled jobs, a strong regulatory and safety institutions, national ownership of nuclear programs. BRICS countries can also obtain long-term and stable partnership with African countries, reduce safety and operational risks, competence-based sustainable markets, global leadership in responsible nuclear development. In conclusion, with this shared commitment, BRICS nations will help shape Africa's nuclear future and sustainable nuclear development. If committed, I am very confident that BRICS Africa cooperation will build a safe and sustainable nuclear future for our continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tesema Tohe, for your contribution. And I think the theme that's coming up is the whole issue around technology and knowledge transfer. And I also hear another theme coming up around localization as well. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Dr. Sherif Helmi, the chairman of the Board Nuclear Power Plants Authority in Egypt. Dr. Helmi, what do you think about BRICS Africa solutions for joint education programs and tailored training exchanges? Dr. Helmi, I think you're on mute.
Okay, do you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for your question, and please allow me to say what an honor it is for the MPPA to contribute to this important discussion. Today, when over 70% of nuclear reactors under construction worldwide are in BRICS countries, our nuclear platform has a unique responsibility and a unique capability to shape the next generation of nuclear professionals. With over 30,000 people involved in the Indaba nuclear power plant project, Egypt speaks from first-hand experience as to the critical importance of comprehensive workforce development. Firstly, in relation to joint education programs, Egypt has long-standing scientific roots in research reactors, which provide a sound basis for forming the skilled workforce required by our civil nuclear power program. Building on that foundation, MPPA prepared an integrated HR development study to align staffing profiles with selected technology and establish a detailed organizational structure and position specific qualifications for Indaba nuclear power plant. For younger talents, the Indaba Nuclear Energy Vocational School has already graduated 4 cohorts of students, creating an early local pipeline of technicians already employed under the project. For many African states, the journey towards nuclear power is only just beginning. In Egypt, despite the decades of research reactor experience, we also faced and overcame the full spectrum of challenges that came with being a civil newcomer. Many of these challenges mirror with what other African countries will encounter. That's why we encourage joint BRICS Africa education programs. Such programs can help anticipate requirements, earlier build national frameworks on a stronger foundation, and ensure the region develops competencies more efficiently than one country could achieve alone. Secondly, recognizing that many African nuclear power programs are at an early stage, tailored training exchanges can offer a unique opportunity for newcomers to accelerate readiness long before their first concrete. At Indaba, MPPA, with contractor support, undertakes a comprehensive training program with theoretical, practical, and on-the-job training across design, construction, commissioning, operation, and maintenance. This training ecosystem is reinforced by training center being built at Indaba site, which also hosts a full-scope simulator. I very much hope that in time MPPA will be able to share the experience and capabilities it has developed here in Egypt for the benefit of other African countries, including through training exchanges. For early stage programs, I believe that training exchanges should focus on basic safety principles, including safety culture, planning national training pipelines, early regulatory coordination, and developing owner oversight capabilities. By building these foundational skills, early newcomer African countries would not only strengthen their own programs, but also develop expertise that could be shared and leveraged across the continent. Finally, we strongly support the creation of national and regional nuclear curricula that are both internationally compliant and regionally realistic. An Africa-oriented curricula should integrate global standards while reflecting the practical realities of building nuclear power in emerging markets, including workforce availability, infrastructure readiness, grid characteristics, and public acceptance. Such a curricula could be instrumental in helping African countries develop the required competencies necessary to ensure the success of their programs. So, in closing, I want to say that human resource development is not only a core priority. It is the decisive factor for nuclear success. By working together, drawing on experience of established nuclear countries, using Egypt's practical newcomer experience, and the collective capacities of our BRICS partners, we can build a workforce that will support safe, reliable, and sustainable nuclear energy across Africa for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Helmi. I think the rest of the continent is looking forward to lessons learned from Egypt as you construct Indaba now, and everybody can wait for you to start synchronizing those units one by one. Thank you so much for sharing. Our next speaker is Mr. Celso Kuna, the president of Abdan. Mr. Kuna, what are your perspectives around BRICS Africa solutions?
Thank you, Mr. Elsie, to invite me to stay with all of you. Well, this is coordinated export is essential to create a sustainable pipeline of nuclear professionals, ensuring the safe, innovative, and sovereign deployment of nuclear power across Africa. Nuclear technology is not just about reactor, it's about human capital. Without a skilled workforce, energy sovereignty becoming a technological dependence. The BRICS Africa collaboration model has the potential to be a game changer for a few key reasons. Breaking a cycle of dependence. Historically, many infrastructure projects in Africa have followed the Turkey model, where technology and experts come from outside and return after construction. The solution, the development of a local curriculum, allows knowledge to remain on the continents. The impact this transformed African countries from mere guests of technology into a sovereign owners and operators of their nuclear programs. The Taylor model needs of a nation like Egypt is already building Indaba are different from those of Ghana or Uganda and others. The BRICS, especially Russia and China, but also Brazil and India, with their own technology, have experience in reactors of different scales, including small modular reactors. Exchange programs can focus not only on nuclear physics, but on regulation, cybersecurity, and waste management. Areas where Africa can skip learning step by observing the best practice already tested. Synergy and scale can be benefit. For example, as a cooperation of a pillar, joint education, cost reduction through regional center of excellence instead of isolated national centers. Capacity building exchange, hands-on training activity power plants in Russia, China, India, or Brazil. Technical standardization, it facilitates the mobility of professionals between African countries and BRIC partners. Well, finally, it's important to say that exist some obstacles that need attention. Brain drain. How do you ensure that the flow of professionals remain on the continent after receiving high quality training? Funding. Long-term educational program require financial stability that survives political cycles. Public acceptance training should also involve communication experts to engage civil society dialogue about security. That's my contribution, and thank you for the opportunity to talk for everybody.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kuna. I think you are raising also an important aspect to say whilst investments on career and talent development happen, we should also look at opportunities of retaining the talent on the continent as well. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Ms. Refilwe Buthelezi. Refilwe is the president of the Federation of African Engineering Organization. Refilwe, what do you think about the BRICS Africa solutions, joint education programs, tailored training exchanges, and local curriculum development as a concerted effort to create a sustainable pipeline of nuclear professionals?
Thank you very much. May I request that we flight my slides? I'll be very brief. Thank you. And once again, I'd like to echo the sentiments of every speaker that has shared today of appreciation to have been invited to this platform, a very important platform in our Africa today as we see it. I am going to speak to you about the BRICS Africa Partnership, but also introduce FAO, which is an organization that I lead. We have heard from the various speakers that indeed BRICS African countries and BRICS as a whole collectively operates over 120 nuclear power plants and lead new buildings and new builds in Africa. We've heard about Egypt. We've heard about Kenya, which is also coming on strong, and we've got current existing nuclear plants in South Africa. And we also heard the interest from Rwanda, which I attended, and I was so pleased to have attended a conference last year and listening to some of the plans that are underway in the region. It's really and truly inspiring, and this conversation is much needed. I've just indicated a short summary of who I am. I am a professional engineer, electrical and electronics. So the space that we're in today serves well with where I come from. And I'm quite pleased to have this conversation. We can move to slide 3. For FAO, which is an umbrella organization positioned to assist the continent with Continental Standard Authority, we have committees such as your Registrars Committee, which are your regulatory bodies across 30 countries, approximately 30 national members within the continent. We pride ourselves as trying to capacitate ourselves to understand professional accreditation and to also work towards harmonizing that. We also work and are custodians of some engineering ethics within the region, and we also want to strengthen our institutional knowledge by partnering with various stakeholders out there. And therefore, for us, the BRICS Africa Partnership on nuclear skills aligns squarely within the mandate of strengthening engineering capacity across the continent. And we believe that we are uniquely positioned to partner with partners such as yourself. We've heard the presentation from Rosatom earlier with the impressive work that is being done to act as that continental platform, connecting the various engineering bodies, institutions, industries, ensuring that the workforce that we've heard about the whole presentation today. We've heard about the mobility of professionals, which is something that at FAO we are working towards in alignment with the African Free Trade Area. We've heard about the brain drain, our diaspora professionals who are out there leaving the continent. We're working towards bringing them back so that they can also contribute to some of the plans that we have in the country. We can move to the next slide. So we work from a regional point of view with 5 regions. And the purpose of working in regional groups is really for ease of dissemination of information, for ease of organizing ourselves, ensuring that no one is left behind. So within the SADC region, we've got SAFEO. Within the eastern region, we've got the central region, we've got the northern region, and we've got the western region. And this enables us to understand our regional regulatory framework. And as we work towards professional mobility, when we start within the region, we ensure that within that region, we comply with all regulatory requirements. And when we are then ready to open up the borders from all regional platforms, aspects of language is also an issue. You'd know that sometimes in the central, we've got a lot of Francophone countries, whereas in the eastern, you've got a lot of Swahili and etc. So the regional groups enables us to organize ourselves well, to disseminate information, to ensure everybody participates equally in the space. And these are the 5 regional groups that as FAO we have structured. You can move to the next slide. So we have structured ourselves to implement our mandate in the following way. We've got board committees, we've got steering technical committees, and we've got committees and working groups. And we have just established a nuclear energy committee that is chaired by a Kenyan engineer and nuclear specialist engineer, Flora, who is a manager currently at KenGen. And this was strategic for us, particularly because when you look at what Kenya is doing when nuclear is concerned, we then ensure that everybody who is involved in nuclear participates in FAO. And it's not just participation, but it's also ensuring that there's knowledge sharing, but also assisting our own engineering professionals and advocate for them to profile themselves and to elevate as they participate in their career space, but also in the industry at large. We can move to the next slide. We also have a FAO Academy, which is meant to be a digital platform to ensure that the capacity building that occurs within FAO is then stored in the Academy. And we ensure that with digitalization and leveraging from technology, we're inclusive in how we work towards that. And I will share with you at a later stage how we have done that in the past year. Some of our strategic pillars are included for you to look at, and we can share the slide with everybody. We can move to the next slide. We've got 8 of those pillars. And in the next slide, I will explain, in the interest of time, how we have started implementing some of those pillars. We can move to the next slide. So we have ensured that, number 1, we strengthen partnerships with the AU, partnerships with the WFEO, partnerships with the African Free Trade Area, partnership with strategic stakeholders who are going to enable us to do our work. But we also understood that we then need to also look inward and see how do we then, through those various structures that I explained to you earlier, implement some of the work that we have agreed on with the partners, the various partners that we have. We can move to the next slide. We host a few conferences. As we spoke earlier about professional mobility, we understand that for us to ensure that we achieve mobility, we first have to ensure that engineering education and practice is seen at an equal platform, so the quality thereof is not compromised. And as members might know, and some might not know, a lot of engineering regulatory bodies work towards achieving international recognition, which means that we affiliate ourselves with international engineering alliances, wanting to ensure that we achieve from the accords, which is the Washington Accords, to the agreements, which is that of practice. And currently in the continent, there's only one country that is full signatory of the IEA, which is South Africa, through the Engineering Council of South Africa. But what we have achieved in the past 3 years is to obtain provisional signatory for Washington Accord for 3 additional countries, which is that of Nigeria, Mauritius, and Kenya. What this does is when we then start talking about mobility of professionals, when we then start talking about having professionals in nuclear move from one country to another or one region to another, we are gaining a lot more momentum in ensuring that our programs are accredited and the quality of our programs are recognized globally, which then means that when we say we don't want to have brain drain in the continent and we want to start calling for those diaspora engineering professionals that are out there who specialize in nuclear, they can walk into any country and their qualification and certification would be recognized as professionals. Remember, for us, professional registration in engineering as a whole is to ensure public safety. So it is important that as we capacitate the skills, we also make sure that all regulatory bodies are agreeing with the quality of the professionals that we receive. That also helps with obtaining CPDs. We remember that with our profession as engineering professionals, lifelong learning is something that we cannot drop. We always have to ensure we reskill, we upskill, particularly in the era of digital technology. And therefore, with the FAO Academy being that platform and the Registrars Committee being a committee of all regulatory bodies within FAO, ensuring that members can attend courses and CPDs will be recognized across. So we invite role players in the space of training and development to partner with us. Join us, let us work together. The African market is young, as we have heard today, but it is also very hungry to learn. And with the plans that we have in mind, we cannot leave capacity building behind, nor can we leave lifelong learning behind. We can move to the next slide. We have also alternate dispute resolution, which is something that is very important from an engineering point of view, particularly when we talk about construction and projects, because we know that with construction, with projects, there will always be conflict. So we've equipped a group of engineering professionals who will work with the African Free Trade to ensure that areas of alternate dispute can also be handled by professional engineering community within the continent, and not just leave it to the lawyers. We know that do their job very well, but it is a sector that from an engineering point of view will assist in optimizing the process of disputes in projects and therefore assisting us with completing some of these projects on time, in scope, and in budget. Some of the initiatives that I've mentioned here, I've tried to zoom into those that speak to the engineering, international engineering alliances to show some of the work that we have done in strengthening ourselves as FAO in the space of registering and getting full signature with the international engineering alliances, which is that for the Washington Accord and for the agreements. And this is some work that we have done over the past year, capacity building some of our members, mentoring our members, and ensuring that on an annual basis, there is a national member within FAO who submits and says, IEA, we are ready to be accredited and to receive provisional signatory. This year, I'm pleased to inform you that Zambia, through the Institute of Engineers Zambia, has submitted their pack, and we hope that in June this year, when their submission is evaluated, they will also obtain their provisional signatory with the International Engineering Alliance. And we show there some of the nuclear conferences that we have held from last year. We are continuing this year. You can move to the next slide. We are continuing again this year with a conference, with a seminar on the 9th of March. But these are some of the webinars that we've held. In every attendance of this webinar, we have had more than 200 engineering professionals in nuclear attend the webinars. We have, through the committee that is led by Engineer Flora, 614 individuals who are part of that group. That means that we've got 600 young professionals who are hungry to learn, to participate in the nuclear space, and there could be more. But this helps us keep them informed, keep them enticed. We bring information through these platforms. We also bring experts in the nuclear space to their fore so that they too can then have the ability to engage, breaking all barriers for accessibility for our professionals. We can move to the next slide. We've been fortunate as well because as FAO, we have a flagship project which is called the Africa Engineering Week, which is hosted once a year by various countries. Last year, we were hosted by Uganda, and this year in September, we'll be hosted by Tanzania. And within that program, we have various streams of energy. And last year, we had a panel that looks like what you see in front of you. And then we also host various lectures from the various stakeholders within the nuclear space to at least participate and assist our nuclear professionals in the space. You can move to the next slide. So this year you will see there on the 9th of March, we've got our very own South African professional who will be joining us. We also extend the invitation to yourself to join us. It will be held on the 9th of March, again being chaired by Engineer Flora, who works in KenGen. And as the host and the host with the most, I'm always involved in the activities. If it's not me, it's also my colleagues. So we invite all of you to join as we work together towards the space of capacity building. We can move to the next slide. We do work hard to ensure that we obtain MOUs. We appreciate that for a continent such as ourselves to succeed in anything, we cannot do it on our own. And therefore, some of the things that we do is to partner through MOUs with various organizations. And through that, we then work towards an implementation plan that we monitor closely. We have a committee that has been appointed to ensure that every MOU achieves the intention that it aims for. So we do not just want to find ourselves signing MOUs, having a celebration, but do not follow through. So we understand that a coordinated BRICS Africa framework is going to assist us. But what we need is we need to have a combination, and I've heard this being spoken by various speakers today, joint education programs, whether it is through webinars, whether it is through exchange programs that I've heard about as well as people spoke today. I fully support the aspect of local development in terms of our curriculum through our TVETs. We cannot leave our TVETs behind. And those kind of initiatives can significantly improve the nuclear workforce within the continent. And through our network, we then can play that central role in achieving it by ensuring that we bring our regulators through the registrars committee that help us with our CPDs, that help us with accreditation of our programs. We bring our universities that help us with capacity building programs, as you've seen with our webinars. And then we bring our national engineering bodies. And in South Africa, we've got more than 50 voluntary associations, where in other countries, like in Kenya, they've got one umbrella association, but that umbrella association can host more than 100,000 of professionals with various disciplines. So working with the various structures that you find in Nigeria, they have Nigeria Society of Engineering Professionals. They have more than 300 individuals who are members, 300,000. So that shows you the scale within which we can actually get access to these professionals. And if we organized, we aim to ensure that we bring nuclear to the people within the FAO group. We can move to the next slide. So we've heard about the collaboration. I also would like to emphasize that we do have opportunities of collaboration. We would like to invite any member who would like to participate and collaborate with us. We have a flagship project, you can move to the next slide, that is coming up in September, which is Africa Engineering Week. This one was the 11th UNESCO Africa Engineering Week and the 9th Africa Engineering Conference, which was last year. So this year, September, we're moving to Tanzania on the 12th UNESCO Africa Engineering Week and 9th African Engineering Conference. I'm not sure if all of you are aware, yesterday we celebrated the World Engineering Day, and all our stakeholders and all our members and all our community members were stationed in Jakarta in Indonesia, where we then also work in ensuring that we advocate for the pipeline of engineering across all disciplines, nuclear included. But also we celebrate and we acknowledge the good work that our young professionals, that our professionals have done, our wise men have done within the space of engineering. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, capacity building must be institutional, and the partnerships must evolve and knowledge transfer from knowledge transfer to knowledge co-creation. If we want to see sustainable programs, we need to make sure that we include our regulatory bodies for competency assessments, we include our local operational partners, and we walk this journey together. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Refilwe. Thank you for sharing and also emphasizing the opportunity for collaborative efforts across the continent to build skills. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but I just want to take this opportunity to ask for probably 3 questions from the floor. As the panel members respond to that, they will make their closing remarks. Are there any questions or comments from the floor? Okay, I don't see any. So I'm going to use this opportunity just to get each one of you just 30 seconds to give us your closing remarks, starting with you, Mr. Kuna.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Elsie. That was a very good opportunity to stay with all of you. In Brazil, we have a very big event in the next year during May, and I want to invite everybody to stay with us. We are talking about 3,000 people participate and a lot of companies of all the Latin America. And I want to invite everybody to join us and to share the information and the knowledge with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Dahao, 30 seconds.
Thank you. I just want to emphasize that for many African countries, the question is no longer why to adopt nuclear energy, it is rather when. And to accelerate this, I think the BRICS Africa partnership combined with the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement should focus on developing or strengthening existing regional educational centers to ensure that the required human capacity is available in Africa. So using this opportunity, I would like just to inform the audience that Rwanda is organizing the second Nuclear Energy Innovation Summit in this May in Kigali. And across the continent, experts, politicians will share their thoughts on how to accelerate the development of nuclear energy projects in Africa. The main theme will be about the financing of nuclear energy projects. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Helmi?
Can I proceed?
Please continue. Dr. Helmi? Or you on mute?
Yeah.
30 seconds closing remarks.
So maybe I may not be that audible. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you very much for arranging this kind of session that helps us, especially African countries, to go that are coming newly for the nuclear technology. and so that we can get different experiences and different supports from those countries who has enriched nuclear technology as a member of BRICS states. So as a summary, in my explanation earlier, I have explained about the need of joint education program, tailored training exchange, and local curriculum development are very crucial and very essential for the development of human resource for the nuclear technology. As far as Ethiopia is concerned, the government of Ethiopia is working very hard to go for this technology. And in this year, we able to establish the Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission. This commission is in charge of implementing the nuclear technology, both the research reactor and the nuclear power plant technologies in the country. But prioritizing the nuclear power plant may be coming first, so that the Ministry of Innovation and Technology, where I am working, is in charge of technology selection and adaptation of the technology with the local conditions and also adoption of the technology. In this regard, we tried to send different experts for training to China and to Russia, and the experts are now back to Ethiopia. They are working with us, and also we able to establish a postgraduate program curriculum for the nuclear engineering in 2 of the universities in Ethiopia. So we are looking African friends that can share ideas and help us, also other international partners, BRICS countries, in order to support us to go for the nuclear technology, since we are a newcomer country. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tesema Tohe. Dr. Sherif, help me, 30 minutes closing remarks? Did I say 30 minutes?
Okay.
30 seconds. You're not that lucky.
Can you hear me or no?
I can hear you, yes. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So in closing, I think in Indaba MPP, we are building the largest nuclear power plant. However, the Indaba MPP is not only steel and concrete, it is also human resources. Therefore, we are urging all our partners at the BRICS countries, and especially our brothers in African countries, to join us. And you are more than welcome to join us for training, exchange, and collaboration and capacity building, and all the other activities related to the establishment of nuclear power plants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mabiga.
Is it on? Okay, I'd like to say thank you for creating this platform for us to engage. In closing, I would say that by building local capacity, attracting top talent, and creating an environment where expertise can thrive, we will ensure that Africa not only adopts nuclear technology, but it develops the world-class workforce needed to sustain it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Mbuisa?
Thank you, Shelley, for the platform, and thank you to all the speakers for their contributions. I think the message has been very clear, and one resounding message that is coming through is that an intentional investment in capacity building and collaboration of various partners across the nuclear value chain are necessary steps for the realization of the economic growth that is envisaged. The world stage is open for meaningful collaboration and growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the panel, and thank you for your contributions. Can we please give them a round of applause? So in closing, and thank you so much for indulging us for this few minutes that we've taken from your time. In closing, I think we have managed to explore practical solutions that will be applicable to Africa. And what's coming out very strongly is the issue of localizing what we're doing and ensuring that the skills transfer such that we can have a sustainable pipeline of nuclear professionals on the continent. I thank you so much.